Hello and welcome back to Truth Central. Today we'd like to talk to you about online anonymity and how to protect your identity on the internet. There are various ways that trolls, stalkers and scammers can find your personal information. Many ways to protect ourselves are quick and simple to do. Others may require a few moments of your time but are worth the effort. Let's start with Facebook. So if you go on Facebook and you go to your profile settings, this is the screen that you get, and you can find the settings to help control your privacy. If you then review your settings, you'll see the first screen here, and you can manage audience settings, which gives you your profile information, posts and stories, how to block people, how to make your account private. It actually links in your Instagram, which is quite handy. And if you go to your profile information, you can see here where it's all redacted, but it gives you the phone number, emails attached to your account, the month and day of your birth and the year, your hometown, relationships, current cities, also places of work and things like that. And each one you can select and it will have only me, friends, close friends, friends of friends, public, and you can choose there how private you want to be. I know this may seem simple, but for some people it's just overwhelming. So I want you to have time to be able to pause this and have a look through if this is something you want to do. So yeah, if you see there, if you click on the phone number, you can choose public, friends, only me, custom, which includes certain friends and lists. With blocking, you can add people to a block list. And when you do your posts and stories, you can change your default audience. So all posts, you can change it, but it's your default. And you can also limit your past posts. So like, it's not just from now, you can do all the past posts as well, so that whoever you've decided can see it, only they can see it now, which is quite a useful thing. Looking at X or Twitter. So again, I know this might seem a bit obvious to some of you who are a bit more savvy with your tech, but I know for some people it's really confusing, so you can skip through if this isn't for you. But that's when you go onto your X and you see your profile, you go to settings and privacy, security and account access, and then it gives you all these different activities that you can do. So you can manage words and notifications, you can mute them or block them, information with your posts, and who can tag you, who can message you. So let's take a random X account, and if we go onto that account and you see the 3 dots in the top corner, and if you click that, you then get the drop down list where you can share their profile, view lists, you can mute them, which I think means you can see it but you don't get notifications and they don't come up in your feed. You can block them, or you can, should you choose, report the account, and then it will give you all sorts of options for why, such as harassment and stalking. So again, in your account, if you go to the audience and tagging, you can protect your posts so that only current people can see your posts. Protect your videos, you can change who can tag you. How discoverable you are, so if people have your phone number or your email address, can they find you? And message requests and audio and video calling, you can change all of that. Instagram. So Instagram it's not very user friendly. And of course I don't have Instagram, so I've used a friend's Instagram, and when you're screenshotting your account, there's a lot of identifiable information that I've had to redact, so please do bear with me. But for those of you with Instagram, you may recognise, if you imagine those circles of profile pictures, then that's your sort of home screen. And then again, you've got the 3 lines there this time instead of dots, and you can go to the account center and go to your personal details, and you can change your birthday. So if you click on date of birth, you can see again, it's the month and day and the year, and you can change your visibility on Instagram, and you can change it on Facebook as well through Instagram, and choose who you share your birthday with. Now, I really recommend that you don't have your full date of birth on a social media account. It's not the best idea, especially if your account is public. But you can see there again in that last screenshot that if you go back to your settings and activity, you've got who can see your content, your account privacy, who can message you, who can comment, who can tag and mention you, which is quite good. Lots of settings. Oh, and with that as well, with the blocking on Instagram, you can choose to block them and any future profiles they make. So if you have somebody who likes to make lots of profiles, if it's linked to the original account, it will block them as well. Now looking at the wider web, so if you're quite savvy on your social media, this might just give you a few extra options. So to avoid doxing, the main way that people's information comes out is on the electoral register. So if you go to the Gov website, you can actually opt out of the open register. The full register, even if you're opted out, that's there, but it's not that easy to get hold of. You can only use it for electoral campaigning, crime, that sort of thing. So to get out of the open register, which is a thing that most people are going to find you on, or most websites are going to find you on, even if you're already registered, you can just go to the registered to vote service and sort of re-register and just update it and opt out of the open register. If when it comes to the full register, the only way to be removed from that is to register to vote anonymously, which gives you the PDF document to fill out and send off. So I had a little look at that to see, what would you actually need to register to vote anonymously. And it is about safety. So it is for people who are perhaps survivors of DV and have fled their abuser, and people who are being stalked, both online and in real life, because it often does cross over into real life. So you need supporting evidence such as eligible court documents, and it gives you a whole list there of documents that you can use. Again, I can, just feel free to pause it, screenshot it, zoom in. I know I can't really make it any bigger, I'm afraid. Or you have an attestation from a qualifying officer certifying that my safety would be at risk. And it basically seems to be, police officers of inspector or higher, and then director generals of security and social services and all of that stuff. But again, you can have a look, and in the PDF it comes with the form that they just fill in and say that, yep, I think they would be at risk, and they could just fill it in and sign it. And that lasts for a maximum period of 5 years. So it is something that you would have to redo. but if you're, really feeling like you're unsafe, then that is an option. What about the census? That's something else where we have to give out our information, but the Office for National Statistics says that it's all anonymised and they're kept secure for 100 years. So that isn't something that you have to worry about, because obviously it is a legal obligation to fill in the census, but yeah, it's all kept confidential. So how do people, Joe Blogs on the street, how does he find your address? And I wanted to give you an example. So I chose a public figure who's very open about their name and where they live, and has mentioned it many, many times. So one of the main ones is 192. They're the first thing that comes up in Google. So I tried to think, if I was Googling this, what would I come up with? And you can see there the results then for that person. What happens if we then click on it? Because there's no confidential information on there. So what happens when we click on those results? Well, you have to register, but you can use social accounts, or you can sign up with your email address, and you need credits. And it's about £16 for 6, and 1 credit gets you 1 search. So while there are free records, they also look at things like credits. So that would be your mobile phone bill, if they've got your phone number. They look at how much your house sold, or if it's a social or rented house. County court judgments. So a lot of information that's there. They actually they claim 750 million records by getting you to pay. Or you can run a one-time background report and get a full report on them for £16, which seems a bit beyond the point. But yeah, £16 for 6 searches, and those credits last for 6 months, I think it is. And then if you get 30 or more credits, they last longer. So yeah, you can see there, each search costs you a credit. Ownership verification costs you 2. I'm assuming that's to do with houses. So 6 credit packages are valid for 1 month. All other credit packages are valid for 6 months. So if you don't use them in those 6 months, then you lose them. Can I get my information off there? Yes, you can. So it shows you there in the FAQs and the help how to get your name and address removed from the site. But you have to remember that that's one site, and this isn't the only site. So you could go through all these websites and ask them to remove your data that's existing, or you can just re-register to vote and opt out of the electoral roll, which I think is much easier. And I have a friend who's not on the electoral roll, and she let me search her name, and we didn't do a location, just her name. And you can see there the history, the last of which was 2012, and the ER means that information has come from the electoral roll. So after 2012, she came off the electoral roll, and that was because she fled DV. So you can see there, once you've come off it, there isn't any more information, but your previous past information is there, and that would be a case of asking them online to remove your details from their website. How else do we find people? So there's a well-known site called ID Crawl, and you can search for people's names, you can search the phone number, and you can search their username, and you can find websites, social media pages, email accounts, all these things that are related to that username, whether it's a Twitter username, Facebook, whatever. And then it's related, this then leads you to another website called Spokio, where you can view the report. So if we look at the report on Spokio, it says, yep, we found a match, we found that account, we've searched through 120 apparently social media platforms, and we've had a look at all these things. So then you would unlock the full results. How much is this going to cost us? A grand total of 95 cents. And you can see the report includes available information on the full name, all the social profiles, photos, dating profiles, contact, address history, everything for 95 cents. And you can see it said there on the website that 394 people have purchased this recently. So to get instant information on this person who will not know that you've done this, it's going to cost you less than £1, which is crazy that your information is just that freely available. So how can we protect ourselves? Well, when you're creating a new email, don't use your legal name, don't use your full name, and that's not just on the email address. It will then ask you for your name, your surname, and I think it's your postcode or something. But yeah, don't use your legal name. That's the name that shows up next to the whole thing, the whole email address. Avoid sharing information like your full date of birth and your address. And actually, I had a friend who was telling me they sent a Christmas card to their friend, and they didn't actually have their new address. And they looked on Facebook and they saw a photo that they'd put of their front door, all decorated with Christmas decorations, saying, oh, this is our first and last Christmas in this hometown, or on this street, on this street. And then on their Facebook profile, it had their hometown. And then they just went on Royal Mail and put in the address because the door number was in the photo, and they got the postcode so that they could send a Christmas card. It's that easy to put yourself at risk online by not thinking about it. He'd actually put his full address on his Facebook for anybody to see. So, just be careful about what information you're sharing. Don't check in to places you regularly visit. So on Facebook and things where you can check in to a venue, if it's a coffee shop that you go to every week to meet your friend and you always do a selfie with whatever new coffee you're trying, don't have the exterior of the coffee shop, the name of the coffee shop. If it's a park you go to with your kids all the time, don't let on that that's where that is. Don't click links or open attachments from people you don't know. Check the actual email address, not just the name, if you get a suspicious email. So like I said, you'll get an email and it will say at the top, from Joe Blogs, or more worryingly, it will say things like from DWP, from driving DVLA. And then when you actually click that name, that drop down, and you see the email address, it's Jeff at XYZ, some random name that doesn't correlate, and that's how you know that it's a scam or it's dodgy. So check the actual email address. You could try Googling yourself, use your full name, try your town, try clubs that you're in, try places you've worked, and just see what comes up on Google. Because if stuff is coming up, then you know that you know, whatever you can find that way, anyone else can find that way. Don't accept friend or follow requests from strangers. It seems counterintuitive because we're all supposed to want to have loads of followers on social media and grow our platform and all of that. But if you care about your privacy, then don't accept requests from people that you don't know. If you're going to create a new profile, try choosing a gender or age neutral username. So if you're an older person and your name's Ethel, you know, that's going to indicate perhaps that you're an older person. And just changing it to Enid isn't really going to help. And again, with your gender as well, I know quite a lot of people do pets names, or they do nicknames and things like that. And as well, ask friends and family not to share your information. I think we sort of forget that actually, you know, a picture of us, we do have the right to say, can you not post a picture of me on Facebook? Can you not post that picture of you showing up at my front door? You know, things like that. You know, we are entitled to say that we don't want those things online. You know, a lot of people don't want pictures of their kids shared online and things like that. So don't be afraid to ask friends and family not to share your information. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope that helps. I know there's a lot going on with cyber stalking things at the moment. And obviously just before Christmas we were talking about people being falsely doxed. You know, it wasn't accurate, but they tried to dox her. And I did say that I would try and get some info for you to try and, you know, help you guys feel safe.